And while Thomas is dancing, Mongrel falls on the other side of the map as well. So they're definitely needing to change it around. And this is something that's unique to see, is that the players near the top are not stopping. They are not stopping their aggression because they are near the top. They want to keep pushing the pedal. They realize how close it is. They say, you know what? If you're going to catch me, you need to go just as aggressive as I am, if not better. As Deceptos is looking for a snipe, almost hits it, and he barely even saw that player. Would have been one to definitely put in the montage and the highlight reel. He's got to be careful. There's a player nearby, and he needed those tags because he is below Storm Surge.
24 below, 27 below, so it's going to continue to drop. You can see 77 players left. Once the storm does close in, that Storm Surge will come into play. Don't forget that is 25 damage every 10 seconds. And with only the 3 minis, that's very rapidly going to pick through. But he should have an opportunity here. There's multiple players rotating in front of him. Still 5 below after that 32 tag, so not quite enough, but might have a nice little ambush opportunity, especially with those 3 crash pads here. However, he needs to be careful as there's 2 players here. And I think one of the players has to be below Storm Surge because they're in the zone and still pressing really aggressively.
And a nice heads-up tag there by Deceptos to get another tag for that Storm Surge. He's hopping the box. He's done with it. He says, you know what? I don't want to wait anymore. I want that tag. And with that elimination, secures himself a placement point as well as the elim point going into that top 75 placement threshold.
Yeah, and a good job. So huge impact elimination there. We talk about tags, which is when you're just trying to land shots for some damage, not necessarily looking to convert, but a massive conversion, which ends up being 2 points because the placement swing puts him well above the Storm Surge threshold. So their number 1 place, not going to be threatened by that, going to get a relatively easy transition into the mid game after getting the resources from that elimination. But now on board with Bafo here, slightly off of the top 15 pace in terms of 20 points, but more than capable of picking himself back up. He is well above that Storm Surge threshold now. And oh my lord, the legendary pistol going to work. Ovations Arion going down there. And we've talked about just how strong that weapon can be and why these competitive and top players are opting to pick it up. It's because in the most recent season, all of those assault rifles have had their headshot multipliers change to be 1.5. The pistols, on the other hand, still have a 2.0 headshot multiplier, which means due to the higher rate of fire, if you're able to be accurate and find 1 or 2 headshots like you saw in that situation, you can convert into eliminations on a really consistent basis, and sometimes even better with the AR. But now, back on board here with Thomas, and the reason we're watching him is we're checking that loadout. He's the one with Kit's Mythic Loot, has the launch pad, and we've seen just how destructive it can be in all of these late game scenarios.
And Thomas has been mastering it so far, but he does get tagged up again. This is not good for Thomas. He's got the Shockwave launcher. He's got a lot of builds, but he's running out of heals as he's going to get a nice beam, and we'll see him Shockwave here momentarily. No, decides not to. As Carrot seems like he ran out of mats or was just in a bad situation, and Thomas capitalized yet again. And we've seen this in the first game. We saw him get mid-game elims. But this is the first time he's been able to actually get an elim and get the loot that comes with it. So that's going to be really good and really scary for these competitors. Because if he's able to pick up any minis or floppers there, he's in a good spot. Someone, however, not in a good spot is Arden, as Hin takes him down very, very low. Arden's going to have to make a play, but there's no play to be made there from him.
And the storm was on his back, forcing him to rotate through. Hen also good job dropping down, picking up whatever he could get there, because you notice not a ton of materials coming over just below the elimination counter to the right of his name. You can see the total number of builds he has available as it does start ticking down. So only about a third of the maximum available, because when you're in the competitive mode, there is a mat cap. It's not 999 metal, 999 wood, 999 brick. No, you can only carry 500 of each, which ends up equating to 150 total builds. Is now we're going to switch on over to an initial replay here of Hen putting pressure down towards the fight and getting kind of this first damage onto Ardit, and it's just like a really good job making sure he's closing this out. And you can see, because the storm is pressing up on the back and Ardit doesn't have the supplies or anything,
yeah, let's allocate.
He's just forced to go, and Hen faking that he had rotated and then turning around. A really good job picking up that elimination. As now we're going to hop back on with our current leader, Gamers Origin Deceptos.
And And where the Holly hedges, that's really good for players like Rezon.
يلا بطلع
He's
بس.
had to move this entire game as it's coming to a close here. He's got a good position in zone as well, as we see a lot of players go down. Storm Surge will be a factor in this next zone as it starts to close.